It's fantastic to have so many people joining in today. And I think what we'll do is we'll get things started. So just as a bit of an introduction, hello and welcome to Halaxy's first virtual practice webinar. My name is Michael. I'm here today and joined with my colleagues, Gary, Isabella, and Key. Now, they're our moderators for this live webinar. So if you have any questions, the place to do that is in the Q&A section within the live webinar box on your Zoom. So you should see there's a Q&A box. Click that, and if you have any questions as we go through, our team, Gary, Isabella, and Key, they're going to be looking through it and answering those questions, as many as possible for you today. In terms of the Zoom webinar chat itself, that's really good for introducing ourselves and just saying hi. But if you've got a question, try and make sure that you put it into the Q&A chat, and that way our team will be able to answer it for you. Now, if you see that someone else asked the same question, then absolutely have a look. There should be a little like button. You can click that like button and bump that question further up. So the questions that have the most likes will be pushed further up the Q&A list, so our team can have a look at those first as well. Oh, it's brilliant to see so many people here. Clinical nutritionist. Hi, Liz. Great to see you. Malcolm, Claudette. Okay. Well, I think we're going to get started. So in the past month, more and more practices have moved, as I'm sure we're all aware, to a virtual treatment model using online consultations to treat their patients and clients. And often for many, this has been for the first time. So in this webinar, we're going to take you through how you can use Halaxy and Halaxy's features to run your practice entirely online from wherever you or your patients and clients may be. So today in particular, what we're going to be doing, it's going to be hopefully the first of many webinars we're running, and we'll take you through firstly accepting bookings online and sending and receiving patient intake forms to your patients. Secondly, we're going to go through running your appointment using the video consultation features Halaxy provides. Third, we're going to be looking at using the Halaxy personal health record and how you can leverage that to share, track, and receive clinical information remotely. Fourth, we're going to be looking at processing payments and rebates remotely and automatically without you needing to do anything. And as well as sending invoices directly to patients at distance. And then finally, we'll review communicating your practice or coronavirus information with your patient base via inbuilt campaigns. So in effect, today, hopefully by the end of it, you'll see that it's just like seeing a patient face-to-face, because all you need to do is to make a booking and everything else is done for you so you can focus on patient treatment, and we'll go through that. So with Halaxy, you can accept bookings online and send interactive intake forms to your patients for completion. When a patient books online or completes a form, this information is then automatically and securely entered into your Halaxy account. And then with this information, you can prepare for your telehealth appointments. And by doing that, you can actually run your telehealth appointments, and it's as easy as one click. And we'll go through that today as well. If you're billing remotely, don't worry. You can accept payment for your invoices during or post-appointment automatically or with a couple of clicks. And finally, hopefully we'll be able to demonstrate how easy it is to communicate with and update your patients en masse by scheduling campaigns. So I think let's get on with it. We've had everyone is saying hello in the webinar chat, and that's fantastic. We're a big community here at Halaxy, so we'll dive right into it. So firstly, let's talk through accepting bookings online and sending and receiving patient intake forms. So in this section of the virtual practice webinar, I'll take you through both the accepting the online bookings and sending and receiving your patient intake forms so that you can reduce your workload. Right, so online bookings. Online bookings allow your patients to book appointments directly into your calendar using Halaxy's free online booking service, available through the Halaxy directory or embedded directly into your own website. If you've not used online bookings before, you only need to do 3 things to enable these. First, make your online directory visible. Secondly, enable online bookings. And finally, ensure your fees are visible. So let's dive into making your directory profile visible. So to do that, if you can see here on the screen, select Personal in your Halaxy profile and then select Profile. Now, from here, you should be able to see your directory profile is up here on the right. Now, to activate your online bookings, this profile needs to be enabled. Most practitioners will have an enabled directory, but if it isn't, what we require is further information to be filled out within your profile so it can be verified. So if you see that that's pending, by all means, make sure that you filled out your qualifications and credentials, your personal details, and more information regarding your clinic. And feel free to send us an email as well. Our team is on hand 17 hours a day, able to help you. So the first step is ensuring that your profile, your directory profile, is enabled. So enabled, and you can also choose another option here, and I'll show you. If you click edit in the top right, you'll see you have the option here to select public, hidden, so you can actually choose to hide your directory profile. So that means it won't appear in Google searches. It won't appear when people search through the Halaxy directory. Or you can also select enabled but not searchable. Now, what this means is that your profile won't appear in Google results and it won't appear when people search the Halaxy directory, but you do have a profile that's online and you can link to it if you'd like as well. So today we're going to leave it as public because we want as many people to be able to see our Halaxy profile and our practice profile as possible. And this means it will appear in Google results or search engine results, and it will appear within the Halaxy practitioner search box as well. So we'll select public there and click save. So it's important to make sure that you're clear as to what setting your directory profile is, because ultimately that's going to determine the visibility that people and patients and clients will have to be able to access your practice. So once that's set up, the next step, the second step, is enabling online bookings and editing your directory profile preferences. So to begin accepting appointments online by enabling your online Halaxy profile, your profile is set up by your different practice locations. So you can appear and accept bookings online for some locations, such as your office, but not for others, such as your home office. So to do this, whereas more so, particularly today, we might be accepting more bookings from our home office. But to do this, go to your personal section within your menu bar, select locations, and here you'll find your locations. Some practitioners might have one location. Other practitioners might have multiple locations, but the important thing is to remember your online bookings are linked to your locations. So each location will require separate online booking preferences to be set. And we're going to work through one today. So from here, we've clicked personal locations. And as we can see, there's an online bookings and profile preferences section. At the moment, our online bookings are disabled. So we're going to click this edit button up here. Right, let's activate our online bookings directory profile by clicking public. And suddenly we'll see a number of options have appeared. These are the options as to the visibility and the type of visibility we want to show on our directory profile. So you have the absolute flexibility, like a lot of things in Halaxy, to select what you want to see. So you can choose to show your clinic's street address, practice hours, emails, even the fees you can show, your fees you can show if you'd like. But also, conversely, you don't have to either. What we're interested in right now is the online booking section, as you can see up here. And we want to make sure that we want to select enabled. Let's ignore the no practice hours set for the moment. And we'll move along here in the online booking section. We do have a question from Kim that's just come through. And Kim, you've asked, what are the pros of enabled but not searcher in the directory profile? That's a really good question. Some practitioners find that helpful, particularly if they're handling or working with clients or patients that might not necessarily, they may not necessarily want to be seen as visibly. So a practitioner may not want to be accessed as easily, depending on the types of clients they see, or they just want to have a more private practice and only see the clients that they know instead of other people being able to find them. So enabled not searchable allows you to accept online bookings by providing links to your existing client base without new clients being able to directly search for you and locate you and find you on Google or through the directory profile. Most practitioners like keeping it public because it means you can obtain new clients and new patients, but the flexibility is there, so it's entirely your choice. So thanks for that, Kim. And everybody, feel free to keep asking questions, and we'll keep hopefully answering as many as we can and clarifying as much as we can for you. But getting back to online bookings here, we've selected enabled. Now that's the key thing for online bookings. What we're going to select here is notifications. So we want to be notified when new bookings are made, and I'm selecting SMS. Now, we haven't actually set a mobile number in our profile, so that's what this notification is up here, but that's okay. All you need to do is add your mobile number to your practice and you'll be notified. Now, we have the choice, and you have the choice to select for the type of clients you'd like to accept for your online bookings. We're going to select all clients because we would like anybody to be able to access our practice and to be able to book with us. And I'll clarify, when I say access our practice, I don't mean they can see any information. They can't. All they can see is the available booking times that we set or that you set to allow them to book with you. Over here, this is a great feature, appointment scheduling. I recommend selecting dynamic. So what dynamic means as opposed to static is that when a patient or a client looks to book an appointment with you through online bookings, dynamic means that if it's, say, a 45-minute appointment slot, that 45 minutes will fit in with your existing appointments. Whereas static means that it will fit in blocks. So let's say you have 45 minutes free, but it starts at 11:15. That's where the availability begins. Static won't show that on your online bookings because static will be looking for an 11 o'clock slot. If you say start on the hour at the start of your day, it'll be looking at 11 o'clock slot to be able to fit in that time. Whereas dynamic, if you had, say, 11:15 until noon, so 12 p.m. or 12 o'clock, it would show that 11:15 slot for a 45-minute appointment as available. So we're going to select dynamic. We're also going to change our appointment lead time. So we actually want to be notified prior. So we want to make sure that we know who's coming to see us 2 hours beforehand. So this means that people won't be able to book appointments that are within 2 hours of the current of the current time. It just gives us a little bit more greater capacity to be able to plan and prepare for new clients and our existing client base. Now we move over to booking process. So we can see here there's two options again, time specific or request based. So here at time specific, what this means is that our client base can actually see on our online booking forms, they can book in for a particular time. Now, if you're a practitioner who prefers to not display necessarily your exact times you're available and you like a little bit more leeway with your appointments and booking in your appointments for clients, then you can book request-based. And what request-based does is it provides a morning, afternoon, a morning, midday, and afternoon slot. And it will, when a client or a patient books in through your online booking form, it will place a pending time within that area of the day, but it's still over to you to move it around and confirm that booking with the person who's booked with you. So, but we're going to choose time specific because this is about reducing our workload, and this means that bookings can be made without us needing to do anything on the admin side. Then helpfully, you can also choose your appointment status. We're going to select booked because as soon as someone books with us or books an online consultation or an appointment through the online booking form, we're considering that booked. In terms of other options, there's pending and waiting list as well. So if pending was chosen, the appointment would display within your calendar as pending and will require your confirmation prior to proceeding and confirming that appointment. The default appointment time is particularly relevant to the static appointment scheduling. But as I said earlier, we have generally 45-minute appointments. Additionally, you have the option for buffer time. So what buffer time means is that you can actually allocate more time after your appointment for things like making sure that you've taken the right notes, that you've completed the admin you need to prior to other clients and patients being able to book and book in with you. So this gives you a bit of breathing room as well. So like our example earlier where I mentioned it was a 45-minute appointment, we actually want 15 minutes post that appointment so that we can do a bit of record keeping and make sure that everything is at the level that we want it to be. So if we now look at booking notes, we'll move into that. I see that we had a question from Joanna. Joanna, thank you for sending a question in. You're asking about booking times. Does it calculate for different time zones? What I can say is this is coming very, very soon. So it's currently in development, and patients will be able to set their own time zones at the time of booking to see your availability in their own time zone. So currently the answer is no, they won't see different time zones, but very, very shortly we'll be providing that functionality as well. So look out for that. We'll be promoting that as well, but it's coming in very soon. Now, getting back to booking notes, what booking notes means, team, is essentially when a patient or a client goes through the booking flow on your online booking form, you can actually add notes. So, for example, in the current climate with COVID-19, you could say, prior to attending my clinic, please give us a call on this number to confirm when you're 5 minutes away or when you're in the car park so we can come visit you. So it's really handy. It can be quite helpful. You can also set things like expectations regarding payments and the types of payments that you accept as well. So that's helpful up front. It appears on the booking form, and this is the opportunity here to add in that information. Now, a confirmation email is sent when online bookings are made. You have the flexibility to be able to customize that confirmation email by clicking the Customize Confirmation Email box just here. So when you click that, you have the choice to update the subject line and then also add in further details within the email body itself. So this is another area where you can communicate directly with your patients and clients about what to expect and the details of their appointment. And for those who haven't seen this before, you're probably noticing the square brackets quite a lot within this email. Now, square brackets, what they allow for are dynamic terms in your Halaxy. So this means that by selecting the dynamic term up here in the formatting bar, for example, we have patient, and I'll type that in here. You have a number of options: patient address, patient date of birth, patient age, title, name. It means that you can actually select that dynamic term. It will appear within your email or your SMS, but in this case it's an email, and automatically populate with that patient's details or that client's details that they've just booked in with, or that you have on record if it's in another type of form. So it's really helpful. And you also can move this around as well. So there's no need for it to stay in this spot. You can format this wherever you like within your email. So it's entirely flexible to how you want to present your practice and your clinic. So that's brilliant. We've got the customized email here. We've set up online bookings. We've set the booking process to be time specific. We've set it to be dynamic. We want a notification in SMS, but actually what we also want to receive is a deposit prior. So here to the left of your screen, you'll see you have 4 options. You can select no deposit, payment required at the time of online booking, full payment required, deposit required, or card capture. So I'll walk through the first 3 and then we can talk about card capture. So no deposit is self-explanatory. Clients and patients can book without needing to enter any payment details. Full payment required, that's, I believe, self-explanatory as well. Your clients and patients will need to enter in their card details and pay at the time of booking. Deposit required gives you a bit more flexibility. So you can actually set a deposit percentage of the fee total. So we're going to set a percentage of 15%. So we want to receive 15% as a deposit that will be set against our client and patient's profile. So we'll actually see that. So we'll see the deposit allocated against their profile. And this will mean that hopefully we're receiving and we're seeing clients who are more serious about booking as well. The final option is card capture. And what this means is you can actually ask for the credit card details at the time of online booking without charging. And then once the appointment takes place, then the appointment is charged at that time. Okay, so once we've set all of this up, everything's looking great, we can click submit. And you'll notice one other thing is outstanding here. And let me just check. So online bookings will remain disabled until hours are set. So to be able to accept online bookings, there's one thing setting up your directory profile and making sure that it's visible. But you got to make sure that you actually have hours where you're available to be seen, because otherwise Halaxy won't be able to show that you're available because it won't have those availability times. So to add the availability, make sure you click the edit button, the top right, and you can actually add in your availability for the week. So we're going to work 5 days a week here, 9 to 5 most days. Wednesdays, we begin at 7 a.m. Moving into Thursday and Friday. And now, suddenly, we have set our hours. And I'll click Save. So now you notice that the prompt doesn't appear anymore. Everything is set up. Our directory profile is visible. Online bookings are enabled. Now, the final step is to make sure that the fees we want to be visible are visible. So you can decide which fees stored within your Halaxy practice are visible on your online bookings page by editing your fee visibility preferences. Now, to do that, navigate to Finances, select Fees. And we can see here, we have 3 fees at the moment. We're going to select this one. And notice down here on the right, there's a visibility section. So want to make sure that that visibility isn't hidden and that it's actually public. So you change it by clicking the edit button and then selecting visibility in the edit fee pricing block and click Save. Now, what that means is this fee will be visible for our clients to book in with at the time that they're looking to make an online booking. So I can see, Mitchell, you've just asked a question. Is there logic for payment types for online bookings for different fee types? So, i.e., as an example, because you're Australian-based bulk bill, you're asking, is that not required for a card or deposit? But a fee type, which is a rebate or private, will. So the answer is yes. You can set this at the fee level. And the way you do that, so it's a really well-timed question, is by disabling your booking payment. So if you're accepting, say, purely a fee that's completely funded by another body, so it doesn't require the payment by the patient or the client, then you can actually disable the booking payment here. So this overrides the deposit that you've requested or the full payment you've requested earlier on the online booking page, on the online booking section within your profile. But this is fee specific, so you have to go through each fee and update these details here. Just bear in mind that this is about the booking payment and disabling that if you have it set. And then down here, this is the important part with the visibility. So you want to make sure that your fee is visible. Now, some people have asked why there are 2 rows. The reason why there are 2 rows is because over time, some fees change in price, and this is a record of that change in price. So you can see here the price has changed. The amount for this fee has changed from $114 to $115. Fantastic. Okay, so this is what we've gone through here. We've also got a question that's come through from Andrew asking about how to set up equipment for sale like resistance bands. Andrew, you can do that by selecting item as your fee. And I'll show you very quickly how to do that. So we navigate to the fees area. We click new fee. We wouldn't import the fee because this fee import is a global fee import for different funding bodies all around the world. And these have up-to-date funding fees. What we would do is we'd select the funder as private. So we import private. The reason why we import, and I'd recommend importing over anything else, where there is the right funding body. If there's not, go for it. Type in whatever you like. Is because this imports the private funding settings, which is, in this case, an individual is paying for their own resistance bands. So we'll type in here, resistance bands. You don't have to enter in a fee number, an item number, but we will. So we'll say RB1. There's no duration because it's actually an item, and this is the key check here. So you select item there. Halaxy also provides your ability to keep track of stock as well. So the resistance bands we've got in the fee name, you can actually add as a product as well. So if you type it into here, you'll actually be able to keep track of your product, and products can be seen up here in the tab, in the products tab. So that's the overview, and that's a very quick overview as to how do you add separate products. But the key thing is selecting item as opposed to appointment. I'll make note as well, we also have a pro rata option. So if you have appointments that are based purely on time, say 5 or 10 or 15-minute blocks, and they can vary, well, you also have a pro rata option, and the amount you set just has to match the duration. So if it's, say, if you accept $20 or 20 euros per 10 minutes, well, then 20 euros would be the amount here, and the time would be 10 minutes. So that gives us hopefully a great overview as to setting up your online bookings to accept online bookings directly into your Halaxy calendar. That's fantastic, but what makes them even better, in my view, is your ability to actually automate sending patient intake forms. So here you can send an online form to a patient who completes their information prior to your appointment, and then this information is automatically stored and ready for your review within your Halaxy practice without you needing to type anything in. You can set this up and send your Halaxy patient intake form in 3 steps, and I'm going to take you through those 3 steps. They are: first, enabling patient intake forms in settings, creating and editing your intake form, and then third, sending the completed form directly to a patient. So let's have a look at enabling the patient intake forms in settings. So let's navigate to your settings. Okay. And here we'll select our general settings tab or settings page. And you'll notice up here, we have the patient portal section, or the personal Halaxy health record. The important thing to note is this patient intake form area, and we can see that it's currently disabled. Now, we want that to be enabled. That's the first step. Now, we don't require 2-factor authentication. That's what 2FA stands for from our patients. That's fine. But we do want to have the intake form sent automatically whenever an online booking is made. Now, you can also send these patient intake forms in one click if you're manually entering in appointments within your calendar as well. You have the choice as to when you want this intake form to send for online booking appointments, only on your patient or client's first appointment, or you can select every online booking. We're going to select just on the first one because we are asking for general information that we're going to then have stored against their profile. So then you can absolutely go to process or use that information that you need as you diagnose your patient. So you also have the option to select the patient intake form, and that's important here. There's a communication template in addition, and what a communication template is essentially the covering letter on your email that then links to your actual patient form. So let's actually talk through creating and editing your intake form. So we're going to submit this at the moment. I'm going to select that patient form, but I'll talk you through where that comes from. And we'll select a communication template, which is the intake form template there. Fantastic. So automatically by saving that or clicking submit, you're taken to the patient intake form section. Now, how did we get there and how can we navigate back to it? To do that, click your settings section, select general, and you'll see down here under clinical settings is the patient intake form row. And here you can click the edit icon and we're taken back to that same screen we were just in. You can create as many intake forms or forms as you like by selecting the add form button in the top right of screen. And when you select that, you'll see you have these options here. So this is where we create, and this is where the magic happens, where we create the intake form that's going to be sent to our clients and our patients. Give the template a name, so the intake form a name. We're just going to call it patient intake form. You can also provide a description there. This is for internal use only, and it's helpful. It's helpful because it means that you can actually, if you have, say, if you're seeing different types of clients that require different types of intakes, you can set up a number of different intake forms that you send to them. Now, let's make sure the status is active. We want to ask for patient details. So we want to make sure that we get the general personal information. That means we can contact our patients going forward. I'm going to select request credit card details here. And in fact, I'm going to make it mandatory. Now, this is just an option. You don't have to select it, but it means that you can capture card details as another way of capturing card details outside of the online booking process. So when a client or a patient receives this form, they're then requested to enter in their card details prior to appointment. So it takes away some of the awkwardness sometimes with asking for payment, particularly after appointments and sessions. But it also makes it easier to make sure that you're receiving payment when you should, whilst working remotely as well. The final thing I'll highlight here as well is the included funding information. Now, this is really helpful for funding bodies generally, the world over. I'll specify Medicare, but you'll see the options that appear here will be determined by the funding bodies that you have within your practice. So we've got fees for Medicare, so we're going to select Medicare. Now, what this means is that when clients receive the intake form, that they're actually going to be asked for their Medicare details as well. So it's just another thing where you don't need to worry about that after you've submitted this and sent this form. Now, that's all fantastic, and you can quite, in your right mind, you could leave it right there, but you can actually ask additional questions too. And these can be practice specific, these could be clinic specific, or profession specific, whatever you like. We're going to ask one question here just to explain and write a bit of an overview as to how this works. So here you can see you can add a section. So we're going to ask general health questions. Okay, and this is what our patient is going to see. We're going to add a question. I'm going to start typing the question. What is your current weight in kilograms? Okay, and I'm waiting for this blue link to appear. I'm selecting that blue link. And now what we're doing is we're actually creating a template question. Why do we do this? The reason why we do this is because you can actually include this question going forward in other clinical tools, which means you can ask this question further down the track. And it means that when this question is asked and then answered, it will automatically update that question within your patient's profile and their clinical notes, in their clinical overview section on their patient page for you. So if it's set up in the correct way, it actually can save you time going forwards. Now, the answer type, we're going to select a numeric value. That numeric value is here, and the measurement we want is kilograms. Now, you have any type of option as well. So bear in mind, you can select pounds, you can select anything you like, any type of measurement is here. But we're going to select kilogram for now, and I click save. Now, that's how you set up a question. And you can also determine whether it's mandatory or not by selecting this option here. So that's the questions field. You can add another question just by clicking add another question. You can add another section by clicking that here as well. We're not going to worry about that just yet. So we're just going to keep that question there, and we're going to click save. Now, that's how we've created the intake form. We've added the intake form here by making sure that it's been selected in the settings page under general, and we've selected that patient intake form, and we've clicked submit. So the final step is sending and receiving. Now, if you've created an intake form and you've added online bookings and you've selected enabled, then it's going to be sent automatically whenever an online booking is made. But let's say you've entered a booking into your calendar and now you're looking to send to that particular patient. So to do that, let's go to the patient list. We'll select the patient's name. And here you'll see there's an option, send an intake form. So on the general page, we have the option here. Now we're going to select the intake form. There's two showing because I created another one. I didn't give it a different name, but we're going to select this one here. And we can choose a communication template, which is our intake form template we saw earlier. And here we can see the details. Now our patient's name is example patient. That's why it's appearing like that. And you can see we provided, please fill out our online intake form, and there's a link provided here. So if we click submit, that means that intake form has now been emailed to our patient. And so that's essentially it. That means that you've now enabled your online bookings. You can accept bookings directly within your calendar should you so choose. And you've also automated your intake forms to be sent automatically whenever an online booking is made. And in addition, you can also send those intake forms manually when you manually enter in bookings within and appointments within your Halaxy calendar. So that takes us on to the second stage. And everybody, I'll note that at this stage, we're about 30 to 35 minutes into to our current webinar. So I'll run through the next sections as well, but please keep asking your questions. And our team, Gary, Isabella, and Key, will be answering quite a lot of them as they are currently. And if any further ones get raised, we'll address those as well. But let's move on to how to run your appointment using the video consultation features Halaxy provides. So video consultations in Halaxy are just as easy as face-to-face appointments in our view. So ensure you're ready for your telehealth appointments as it approaches by following these steps. So creating your telehealth appointments. You can create your online video appointments the same way you create face-to-face appointments. And the way to do that is essentially directly from your calendar. So let's navigate to your Halaxy calendar. So whenever you create a telehealth appointment, let's do that here. It's important that you set the location to online consultation. Now, if you're accepting telephone appointments as well, then you'd change the location to telephone appointment. So let's have a try here. I have example patient. We're going to add a Medicare fee for the sake of it. We already have this within our practice. And this is where the special stuff happens in the location section. So select location. At the moment, it's selected our practice. Our practice name is Alex Smith 2. But what's important that you want to look out for here is actually selecting either online or phone consultation. So I'm going to select online consultation and click save. Now, we can see the appointment has been generated. Now, you have a couple of options with Halaxy. As with a lot of things, there's lots of flexibility built in. You can either integrate directly with CoView, and if you'd like to find out more information on that, I recommend selecting this question mark up here within your Halaxy guide or your Halaxy program, selecting the help guide and typing in CoView or telehealth, and you'll see the options there. The alternative is if you're using something like what we're using today, Zoom, you can actually copy and paste your Zoom meeting link into the telehealth URL here. So you can select that by clicking this button here, which it looks like a camera. Select that and you paste in your URL. So we could say zoom.com/our appointment. 1, 2, 3. And we click save. Now, what that means is that URL is now saved. So when we send out automated reminders, if you have those set up, or when we want to communicate and mail out this particular online consultation link, that's the URL that's going to be shown and that's going to be provided to your client or your patient. And you can access that by clicking this here, and then that link will come up as well that you can go to for your appointment at the right time. So as I noted, if you'd rather not copy and paste a link, you can integrate directly with Halaxy and CoView. And that means you never have to leave your Halaxy calendar. You never have to log into a different website or application. So you can do that here by going into integrations, and you'll see online consultation as an option here. So I recommend having a click of that, and then you can connect your CoView that way. So you have a number of options. If you have a preferred way of conducting telehealth, you can do that with the URL, or you can also integrate with CoView. Now, let's have a quick look at customizing the wording of online consultation reminders. So if we navigate to settings again, a lot happens in the settings section for establishing your virtual practice. And let's select reminders. Now here under the copy in our reminders, we'll see there's video consultation and phone consultation. So depending, and what gets sent depends on two things. Depends on the location you've selected. So if you select a video consultation location, then these reminders will be sent. Select phone, then these will be sent. The second part is ensuring that you actually have reminders activated, and that's in this section here. So to activate them, you click edit and you can select what you'd like: new appointment, change appointment, pre-appointment reminders to be selected either across SMS, email, or both. we're focused on video consultation here. So, and phone works the same way, but we're going to select video consultation copy, and we want a pre-appointment reminder. We want to customize our pre-appointment reminder. We prefer to send, in this case, we're preferring to send SMS. So we have our draft copy here already, and we'd like to add an additional link, which is our video consult link. So we can say, please click this link to access your online consultation. And it's as easy as that, and then we click save here. Now, that video consult link will be populated by the link that you've put in the calendar on the appointment. So it's that URL that's important there, just to keep, just to be aware of. Now, that's running video consultations through your Halaxy program. And if you have any other questions, our team's here to help walk you through it as well. But also, we offer support 17 hours a day. So even after this webinar, you can call through or you can email through, and we're offering support for the next 6 hours as well after, and we do that every weekday. So let's move ahead now, and we'll discuss briefly the Halaxy Personal Health Record and how it can help to share, track, and receive clinical information remotely. So your general settings section is the area where you define the rules that you want to operate within when inviting and sharing information with your patients and clients. So we're going to navigate here, and we can see that under the patient portal, it's enabled for us, but you just want to make sure that it is enabled so you can invite patients. We want to update. So when a patient actually edits their clinical information for us that we've shared with them, so you choose to share particular notes with them, it doesn't share everything, it's only what you've chosen. We want to be updated. So we want to be notified, and then we can update those details within their clinical record. And also we want to enable note sharing. So we'll click save. Fantastic. So now that this is enabled, we can go to our patient list, select our patient, and up here in the top, you'll see on your profiles in your Halaxy, this patient has already accepted their invite. There is an option here that appears that says invite to patient portal or personal Halaxy health record. When you click that, your patient will receive an email, and the email looks like this. So, dear their name, please activate your Halaxy patient profile by setting your password. And then they'll be taken, when they click this link, to this page here, and they can set their password and join their Halaxy and access their Halaxy personal health record from here. Now, what does that health record actually look like? Well, let's show you. So let's look at a clinical note. So that means that you can access any clinical note. You can, within their profile, as you already can, because it's your profile that you're storing the information in. You could say, let's say you wanted to share something. I'm just going to use a referral acceptance as an example for the sake of it here. So your patient or client has asked you for a copy of their referral. Now you have a choice. You can email it, which is absolutely fine, or you can actually share it with them once they're added to their portal. So we're going to share with this patient and click save. Now, this applies to clinical tools as well. So you might have, say, for psychologists, you might have a DAS21 template that you've either imported from your Halaxy profile or you've created yourselves. And you can share these clinical tools with your patients and clients as well. And I recommend you to check out the question mark up here just to get a better overview on that too. But just to show you what that looks like in the patient's side, they'll see this when they log into their Halaxy profile. It's very different. They can access their records here. And we're going to have a look actually at their health notes. So they click My Health and they can select Notes. Now, these notes have been shared. So individually, each note has been shared with the patient, and that was done earlier today. But when you create a new note, it will only be shared when you select the share option that we saw before on the top right. So let's have a look at the referral acceptance. We can see the template is here, and it shows up within our patient's side of their health record as well. So it's a really helpful tool, and it's helpful to be able to share notes when you need to remotely with your patients and clients. In terms of taking notes during appointments, we've had a few questions about that. The best way to do that is you select your appointment, you select notes here, and automatically for you, there's a blank appointment template that's a clinical note template that's created, and you can enter in your notes. So you can have your video screen on one side of your screen, and on the other half of your screen, your notes can be right next to that. So that's the best way that you can do that, and you can also import templates if you need to on the fly as you go as well. So hopefully that's given you a bit of an overview there of what it means to invite patients to the portal, and also create clinical notes that you can then share. If you'd like to know more, by all means, ask us as we're going right now. As you can see, a few people are. That's fantastic. Have a look at the question mark up here and type in clinical tools. That's also helpful. Or feel free to email us or give us a call as well. So what we'll go to now, and I'll flag it actually just before we do, the clinical dashboard is also a helpful area to look more into. I'm just cognizant of time at the moment, but we're going to be hosting likely more of these webinars going forward in time as well, and we can deep dive into more of these features. But hopefully I'm giving you a bit of a flavour today, an overview about how you can actually run an effective telehealth practice through your Halaxy program. Okay, so let's move now into processing payments and rebates automatically and sending invoices to patients at distance. So we're going to move into here. So you can process and receive payments online via Halaxy very easily. And I'd say in terms of the features we provide regarding payments, hopefully it makes running your practice as easy as possible as well. So your Halaxy can process credit or debit cards, which covers almost every account type in Australia. I'll note that we're rolling out payments for international practitioners as well this year, and we're hoping that happens sooner than later too. So in your Halaxy, you can accept credit or debit cards, Medicare, DVA, TAC work cover, and more funders without the need to have a physical contact with cash or an EFTPOS machine at all, which ensures social distancing and also reduces your administration time. So all you need to do this is enter your patient's card details in Halaxy. And whenever they have an appointment, you just click process on the particular invoice itself. So let's have a look at an example invoice here. So we're in an invoice, and the best way to access the invoice is directly through your calendar. So if we select the calendar block, because everything is driven by the calendar in Halaxy, and it simplifies a lot of your administration by navigating to the calendar first. You can access your patient here, the online consultation, the notes, but we're interested in the invoice for this appointment. And by clicking that, we've gone directly to your invoice. You'll see here your details, but importantly, payments. Now, payments, there's a number of options, and I don't want you to be concerned by the number of options there. These are purely just to give you flexibility to accept any type of payment method that you prefer. Because this is a funding body, and particularly it's Medicare, and Halaxy integrates directly with Medicare, you can actually process your bulk bills in one click or a couple clicks by selecting this within your invoice itself in Halaxy. You can also process patient rebates as well after you've accepted their full payment here. Now, to add payment details, you can add it on your client or patient's profile, but you can also, under their funding page, but you can also enter it directly in the invoice itself. So you can add the name, the card details, the relevant details there. You can even assign the credit card fees to the patient if you'd like on top, and you can choose to store the card for further use, provided that your patient or client gives you permission to do so. Now, this information, once it's entered, you won't be able to actually see the full credit card number. We can't see the full credit card number after it's entered, but it does mean that you can store it securely, and you only have to ask for it once as well. So you can do that by selecting the option here. Something that's also helpful as well is you can accept payments up front, as we've talked quite a lot about, or you can add it in at the time of the appointment by accepting the card details in person, even over the phone. But you also have the choice where you can email the invoice, and by emailing the invoice, you can add a payment link. So the payment link means that you can see your patients or your clients, and you can actually accept payment after the appointment as well via an email. So I recommend having a look through here and clicking the question mark in the help section and searching for payment link. So that's a new feature that we've added over the last 3 to 4 weeks. And what that means is you can accept your payment before an appointment, you can accept it during an appointment, and you can accept it after an appointment, whatever suits you best. Now, finally, in this webinar, what we'll go to is the final stage, which is 5, communicating with your patient base via inbuilt campaigns. I've got to say, thank you for everyone participating so much so far. I realize this is a lot to take in, and I really appreciate everyone's questions as well, and the whole team does, so thank you for that. So let's talk about communicating with your patients and clients en masse via Halaxy's inbuilt campaign feature. So often it can be important to communicate with your patient list or segments of it, and you can send SMS and email communications to do so. We call these campaigns, and you can send them to your patients or to your referral network. To do so, it just takes 3 steps to set up a Halaxy campaign. First, create your campaign content. Second, select your audience. And finally, send your campaign to that audience. Now, some campaign examples that Halaxy practitioners have sent recently include notifying patients about their open hours, informing patients that phone and online video consultations are available, and updating patients about their practice's preventative measures during the COVID-19 outbreak, among many other types of ways to send out campaigns, including birthdays and those type of things as well. So it's entirely up to you as to how you use it, but the flexibility and the functionality is there. So, Michael, how do we do it? Well, we've got to create our campaign content. So you can reuse an existing campaign by reuse an existing communication template, or create a new one specifically for a campaign. The communication template is the SMS or it's the email as well that you'll be sending to patients or to your referral network. So to create a new email or SMS communication template, simply go to your settings, select General. Under Clinical Settings, just down here, you'll see there's a Communication Templates option. So select that. And here we have one, which is the covering letter for our intake form that we saw earlier. But we're actually going to go back and we're going to create another campaign, and we're going to say add email. So we can add in the title our first campaign. Description, this is an email campaign. The subject is hello from our practice. Status is important, it has to be active. And now we can set the content. So we can say, hello, it's fantastic to send this campaign to our client / patient base. Regards, Michael. Or in this case, I guess it's Dr. Alex. Okay, so, and we click submit. Now we've created our template, and it's the same setup for SMS as well. So you just follow that, and it's as easy as that to create your initial campaign content. Now, the next step is actually creating our audience. So to create an audience, we have to create our cohort. So we have to create an audience by going to reports, because reports offer us a way to filter through our practice. We're going to select patient, because we want to send this campaign to our patients. We're going to select new report. I'm going to select caseload, and we just want to see active current. There we go, current patients, and click run. So we're selecting run here. Fantastic. We've created a report. So by clicking run, what we're doing is we're actually saying run these filters across our practice information and generate the report. And now we've done that. So we have one patient in our practice here today. You might have, and you probably do, you probably have many more, or you're looking to add more, and you'll see that they'll appear here depending on the filters you've set. If you ever need to adjust a filter whilst running a report, you can click the edit icon on the top right and change the filters. There's no need to add in more filters than is necessary. You don't need to fill in every section. Just fill in what you need to get the information you need. So we've run this report. We're going to have to save it. So you save it because what we're doing is we're actually saving this cohort to be able to send the campaign to. So our first campaign cohort, save. And as soon as you click save, you'll see the option appears at the top to set as campaign. So that will appear because we've defined our audience, and now we can set as campaign. And we can link this audience, which is our report title at the moment that we're giving it, to the email template, which is our first campaign here. And we can now choose who we send on behalf of if you've got multiple practitioners. And that's going to be myself for this example, and click save. Our campaign is now successfully saved. And I'll be wrapping up, everybody, just to let you know, I'll be completing this webinar in the next 2 minutes as well. And thank you for your time. And hopefully it's been helpful so far. So we've now successfully saved the campaign. It's now being scheduled to send. How do we see where it's being sent, and how do we find out the status of it? To do that, you select communication under reports, select new report, and in the campaign section, that's what we want as report type, and just click run. Now you can define the dates if you run lots of campaigns, but we've only set one, so we're going to run once. And here we can see our campaign is here listed in the row. The template it's using is our first campaign. That's in the communication templates. The type is an email, and you can see the recipients are not yet created. So the way the campaigns work is they are scheduled. So you can choose the time it's scheduled, but if you don't, you just click run now. There is usually a 2 to 5 minute time frame where it's being scheduled, it's being compiled, and then it will be sent after that 5 minute time frame. Now, don't quote that 5 minute time frame strictly, but there is a period of time. If you find out that you've sent a campaign incorrectly, you can actually you can run the communication campaigns report and cancel the campaign. Once it is running, once your recipients are being emailed and that link disappears, the campaign is being sent, and there's nothing you can do to stop that campaign at that period of time. But it's important to know that you do have an option here within a short period of time. So in summary, I hope that today has been rather helpful. And our team has enjoyed answering everybody's questions as well. Thank you for participating in Halaxy's first virtual practice webinar. And today we've demonstrated how you can run a fantastic health practice online from anywhere in the world. And just as an overview, we've worked through first accepting bookings online and sending and receiving patient intake forms to your patients and clients. Second, running your appointment using the video consultation features Halaxy provides. Third, leveraging the Halaxy personal health record to share, track, and receive clinical information remotely. Fourth, accepting credit card payments, processing health services, and invoicing at distance. And finally, we've just covered communicating with your patient base via inbuilt campaigns. Thank you, everybody. If you'd like to know more, please review our help guide. It's just here in the top right on your Halaxy page. It's on nearly every single Halaxy page within your program. We have a number of helpful help guide tutorials within here. And also feel free to join our Halaxy Facebook group as well. We're always engaged on that. Or you can give us a call or an email. So we're available for more than 17 hours a day during weekdays. No matter where you are, where you're located in the world, we're here to help. So I hope you've enjoyed and you've learned a few things from this webinar. Thank you for watching this today. And we hope to continue this going forward. So we'll keep you notified as we go. But thank you for participating in Halaxy's first live webinar. And we wish you all the best as well during this time. Thank you very much. All the best. Bye.